Alright, YouTube. I'm here to explain a lot of plays that Quick Draw has that maybe a lot of people don't understand, see, or even know may or may not exist. So I begin with an opening play of Lone Fire Blossom and Fool's Barrel. You play Fool's Barrel. We have Quick Draw. Quick Draw. We have Dandelion. Sent to the graveyard. 2 tokens drop. Now what happens is we normally summon Lone Fire Blossom. Now we use the effect. This is when pro plays may or may not come in. Use the effect, trigger off this token. This is a plant. Search your deck for a Lone Fire. It has priority. Make sure you clarify with your opponent because knowing you guys, some people just don't do that very well. This comes. Activate the priority of the second effect. You're still turn player. Your opponent then responds. In the meantime, this is triggered off the board. Your opponent responds. Then Titano hits the board. Now, preferably when you use the effect for these two, for the second Lone Fire, you can trigger this off the field or the token. I would prefer triggering off this just because you can't take damage. But if you play against X-Sabers, make sure that token leaves and keep this here because Lone Fire Blossom's defense is 1400 and Full Helm Knight's attack is 13, so his effect won't activate. Other than that, you're pretty good. So now you have the first turn Titanium with Dandelion Engrave and first turn Foolish Burial. That's what makes this play effective. Another play that's effective is Foolish Burial with Titanium in hand. A lot of people sit there and play this deck and they get real upset because, oh no, I have Titanium in hand. What do? I can't do nothing but tribute for it. Well, there's a solution for that. Now we have this thing called Plague Spreader Zombie. This is why he's in the deck. Use Foolish Burial, send Plague, and then just stack this on top of the deck and activate Lone Fire Blossom's effect, tribute them all off, and then you get Titania back. Another thing I have to express within this video is Hollow Duality, Quick Draw Synchro, and Debris Dragon. Because these cards are very important of how the deck's played, and people can make really bad just choices based off of what's going on in the current game state. So first of all, people may wonder, okay, so we have tokens on the board, or we want to make tokens, we can pitch, and we'll have, 2 of these. Well, sometimes that's okay, sometimes it's not, because maybe you want to pitch cards out of your hand just so you can use your Pot of Avarice, so you can launch 5 creatures from your grave. Sometimes you just need to be very direct. One of the best things to have is Quick Draw Synchron, Debris Dragon, and Dandelion. If you have this, you can blow up your opponent's field, kind of, and you will have a Stardust Dragon. As I say, you pitch this, summon Quick Draw Synchron, 2 tokens come. Then you choose whether if you want to synchro or not. I would prefer you don't. You summon the Debris Dragon and summon the Dandelion. So now we can make any synchro monster we want out of our synchro deck. That is not Colossal Fighter or those other cards for Plague Spreader Zombie. Phone call. Scary. So what happens is now let's go into alright, this is for everyone's personal preference here. Alright, based on the game state, I can't tell you the correct play because it really depends on the field. You're going to go into Stardust Dragon or you're going to go into Scrap Dragon for Debris Dragon choice, and then for Quick Draw Synchron you can go into any of them. I would prefer Junk Destroyer or Drawer. It depends if you have hand or not, or probably depends on the deck. Like if you're going against Glads or something, go into Turbo Warrior, or just use Junk Destroyer to destroy the backfields. Because when Dandelion is sent to the graveyard, you're going to get 2 additional tokens for your field. So that means Scrap Dragon is going to have targets to use to blow up cards, or you have more tokens for Quick Draw Synchron to go into Junk Destroyer. So the actual play that's most effective for this is if Debris Dragon goes into Stardust Dragon. Alright, Stardust comes, these 2 go to grave, Dandelion's effect activates, you get 2 tokens. So then when that happens, you can now go into Junk Destroyer, Synchro, and now you can destroy 3 cards. So if your opponent even responds, you Stardust Dragon and trigger, you clear their field, and you just attack, and you only used 2 cards to destroy what? 3, 4. So you plussed out. Another card I'd discuss is Pot of Duality. This deck has numerous hands, numerous combos, numerous abilities. And a lot of people don't really understand that, well, how does this deck work within the format? How is this doing anything based off of, what am I doing? Some people say I may cheat. Some people say a lot of things. I really don't. It's really hard to, especially when everyone watches you play all the time. So let me show you guys a hand with starting with Pot of Duality, because it's a very good first turn card. So, we're sitting here, shuffle the deck. Don't get any ideas, people. Don't know what you guys do. So, we open with Starlight Road, Raikou, Solemn, Compulse. And we have Pot of Duality. So, people are now going to sit here and use their little thoughts to determine what are they going to do for a first turn play. First of all, use Pot of Duality. That's the first thing you do. So, you can now see your top 3 cards, and you pick one. So we have Book, Caius, and Caius. It's not really good Pot of Duality, preferably, but I would actually get the Caius, because we have Compulse and Solemn, so we can set this as a heavy backfield, not scared of a heavy storm. Your opponent doesn't know your hand, remember that. So you're going to get the Caius and you're going to set. And you can't start the summon this turn, and these cards go back to the deck. So when that happens, we're just going to set the Raikou for the Caius before next turn, and then you set 3 cards. So, if we ever went up against X-Sabers or any deck right now, I have probably have a really good backfield startup, no matter what deck I'm actually playing against. So now you're going to do your turns. I can care less what you do, because I have Solemn. So I draw Heavy Storm, which kind of sucks, but I can activate it. Some of my Stardust Dragon if I need to. Don't ever think that's a bad thing to do, because sometimes you might need that Stardust Dragon. If my opponent was to attack, I have Compulse. If I want to flip my Raikou and, become aggro, I can Compulse my cards back. So now I flip Raikou. We're going to mill 3 cards. We milled Mirror Force, Quick Draw Synchron, and Bottomless Trap Hole. So we did that and drew for Caius. Now we attack. Now we're going to be dicks and just remove their cards from play, blow up the backfield, and kind of got a +1. But I have more cards than you now. So now your goal is to remove the Caius, and guess what? Not many cards can actually destroy Caius all at once. So I draw now, I drew Compulse. Now we set Raikou. Now, a lot of times when it happens, a lot of people wonder, like, oh, what am I going to do with my backfields in my hand? Am I going to set the other Compulse? No, you're not going to set the Compulse. You're going to keep the Solemn and the 3 traps set. So now my opponent's going to be really gay and use Mind Control, so I'm just going to use Compulsory Evacuation Device and get this back to my hand. Compulse is a real card. It bounces off Synchros, bounces off offense, even defense for game, like those in-phase compulses to just attack for game. It's just a real smart card to use. And my next card is Sanguine. So I just showed you Pot of Duality. I didn't show you Doom Kali, Thunder Kings, so I'm gonna do that. You open with a hand with a Doom Cavernite. Okay. This is why this card is really important in this format. Even the next format is gonna be really good too. We open with Doom Cow, Pot of Duality, Pot of Avarice, Compulse, another Avarice, and a Dandelion. Now you guys are like, wow, what do you do with that bad hand? I don't know, we're going to Pot of Duality, get Thunder King, Titania, and Lone Fire. Well, I know what I'm doing next turn. Go Lone Fire, because you're going to get rid of your Doom Cavernite. They always do. I can't start to summon this turn, so I can either summon the Doom Cow, so they actually use monster effects, or I set the Dandelion, so I can use it in combos with Lone Fire Blossom. So then I get 2 tokens like I showed you the Foolish Burial play, and then we just have Compulse. So you guys can go from there and figure that out. The Thunder King is self-explained, everyone plays it. So this is, I think, everything to cover for side deck, no, for the main deck. Yeah, Prussian main is really good. Don't really feel like explaining it. It's just, if you play Dark Arm format and you main Depression, you know why. If not, then, you guys keep it in your side deck. It's going to be the one. You might as well main it. So this ends this video, and I'm going to do a video on my side deck.